This week, though, it sounds like reinforcements might be on the way. Sounds like Charles Omenihu might be back for the first time this season. We'll have to wait to see if he's going to be active or actually participate in the game, but it sounds like he's trending towards playing in this game, according to the Chiefs, and that's a good sign.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank. If you're thinking about starting a business or know someone who is, check out Emprise Bank's SBA loans. It's always good to know your options, and they can be your partner in possible.
5 things to watch here on KC Sports Network, getting you ready for Chiefs versus Raiders on Black Friday. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving or having a wonderful Thanksgiving. Appreciate you all listening and supporting 5 things, and it is brought to you by Batchelder Family Farms. You now can order Batchelder's fresh farm-raised products online in just a few clicks. You can also find their bison at the Overland Park Farmers Market and the River Market on Saturdays, where they sell their pasture-raised beef and bison, jerky, and eggs. Finally, you can visit their farm store for the freshest cuts and other locally sourced products Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 20810 South Prospect Avenue in Belton, Missouri. You can also find Batchelder Family Farms in Matthew Lane, Belly, because I believe you just ordered a bunch of stuff from them, didn't you?
Listen, I did. Hold on, what do we got? What do we got here? We got, an old-timer buffalo jerky. I honestly can't wait to rip into this bad boy as soon as we're done here. So we got to hurry this up because I got stuff to do, Kent.
I bet you do, Matthew. It sounds like it. Yeah, very protein related.
There's 3 of them in here, by the way.
There you go. Attaboy.
Not to be 0.
That checks out. But yeah, no, we're getting you ready for this game, and you're going to hear from a variety of voices across KC Sports Network. You're going to hear from our guy, Matt Hamilton, who's with us on Matterdays. You're going to hear from the guys at that football show, Benny's Picks, and also Only Weird Games. But we are starting you off as we always do. We got to talk about the pass rush. We've had a lot of conversations for the entirety of the year.
What?
The defensive line attempting to sack the quarterback. Matthew. But it's been a very inconsistent year so far for the pass rush. Actually, maybe not even that inconsistent. It's been consistently struggling. If the Chiefs are going to achieve what they want to achieve, they're going to have to be better in the pass rush department for the majority of the rest of the season. So that's got to be a big focal point and a big opportunity for them to do it against a statue in Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, the Chiefs pass rush has definitely not been the best. It's been better, or it was better earlier in the year, but even still, from the early big part of the year until now, their sack percentage has been pretty mediocre. It seems like it's only getting worse. The Chiefs are really struggling to get pressure while only bringing 4 guys, and it doesn't matter if Chris Jones or what combination of guys you put next to Chris Jones. They're just struggling to consistently get the other opposing quarterback to the ground. Their pressure rates are okay when just bringing 4, but they still really struggle to finish off the play, to actually get to the quarterback, get him on the ground. And what we've seen these past few weeks is the opposing teams have really taken advantage of the fact that the Chiefs have to blitz to get pressure. They're ready for it. When the Chiefs don't bring the pressure, nothing gets home. And so you have all this extra time for a quarterback to find someone get open. So it's been very difficult for the Chiefs to play defense these last few weeks. This week, though, it sounds like reinforcements might be on the way. Sounds like Charles Omenihu might be back for the first time this season. We'll have to wait to see if he's going to be active or actually participate in the game, but it sounds like he's trending towards playing in this game, according to the Chiefs, and that's a good sign.
Hey, the last time we saw Charles Omenihu, he was putting together a really good performance against the Baltimore Ravens. I believe he had a strip sack in that game. He's been playing, he's playing good football down the stretch for this team, and he looked like a very real asset that was going to make significant contributions. And this is a big remainder of the season for Charles Omenihu, because this is a contract year for him. This is, a chance for him to get paid again. This is his last year of his contract here in Kansas City. So if he can go out and if he can put together a really strong performance, for, the rest of this year, he can be in line for a pretty nice little payday. If he can kind of, show some of the things that he was doing, down the home stretch. And, I think one thing will be interesting is how they weaponize him. Are they going to kick him inside on passing downs? How are the Chiefs going to be dealing with this rotation? Where are they going to be lining different players up? How are they going to be utilizing them all? I'm kind of fascinated to see what roles all of these guys settle into. Just because, we've talked about, hey, I would say the two best pass rushers for the Chiefs are both on the interior right now. It's Chris Jones and it's Turk Wharton. And so, do you continue to run with those guys? Do you try to mix some things up here or there, get a little bit more? I'm not saying Turk Wharton's not that athletic because he is, but you know what I mean? Like a more different kind of pass rusher along the interior. I'm going to be curious to see what these roles are.
I mean, that kind of seems what the Chiefs have done so far, is they've given themselves different types of bodies, different guys available. They made the trade earlier in the year for Joshua Uche, who did see, his most pass rush snaps for the Chiefs this past game against the Carolina Panthers. And it wasn't overly impactful, but I think if you watch him compared to other defensive ends, you can see there's a different type of rusher there with him. And then you mentioned Tershawn Wharton on the interior. Now you're bringing Omenigui back. You have Karlaftis, Dana. You have a bunch of these guys that can move around a little bit. And that's something the Chiefs and Spags and Joe Colin have always done with their defensive line. They haven't done it as much this year. This year, it's more been Chris Jones hunting down the guy he wants, but that isn't resulting since the beginning part of the year. That hasn't really resulted in the outcome that you want. So now maybe getting all these bodies back with Dana coming back last week and then Omenigui coming back and with the Uche addition, maybe now you just get more versatility. Maybe now you move these guys up and down the line and it's less about Chris Jones finding the one matchup he wants all the time and more about everybody kind of trying to mix and match, get these different looks, get these different angles for the opposition because they do need to do something differently with this pass rush right now. Do you have anything else about the pass rush that really sticks out to you, Kent?
No, I think I'm just excited to see, these guys settle into roles over the course of the season. They've got Uche and Omenigui. You're hoping that helps them create better pass rush. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
And so, one of the big reasons the pass rush needs to start, kicking it up is because the Chiefs have suffered some injuries in the secondary. Cornerbacks are a little thin right now. It's a lot of pressure on the pass rush, but also a lot of pressure on the safety. So let's jump on over to Matt Hamilton. He talks about the Chiefs safeties bouncing back after a rough one against the Panthers.
Thanks, Maddie. And the one thing I'm looking for in this game is the Chiefs safeties and Shamari Connor against these Raiders receivers in coverage. And, you can say what you want about this Raiders passing game with Aiden O'Connell taking over and all of that, but those guys had their hands full against the Panthers last week. And in coverage, Justin Reed, Brian Cook, and Shamari Connor were targeted 11 times, gave up 9 receptions for 129 yards. And there was that 28-yard pass interference on Shamari as well. So it was an area that this defense was exploited against the Panthers. We've seen them get exploited there at points this year. And this is a Raiders group that can do it. When you look at what Jacoby Myers can do, he moves around a lot when he operates out of the slot in the middle of the field. He's dangerous. Coming off a 10-catch game for 121 yards against the Broncos. Trey Tucker, too. He had 7 catches for 82 in that game. I know the Raiders were playing from behind a little bit there, but those guys were making plays. They've made plays at points this year. And with the way the Chiefs have looked defending the middle of the field, it's a real concern here. And, some of it is on the safeties and is on Shamari directly. Some of it is the linebackers underneath as well, and some big windows being created there with them not getting enough depth and getting to the right spots. But it's something that really has to get better here for this Chiefs defense as they get down the stretch of this regular season and then start looking into the playoffs. They have to clean it up. I think they have the guys to do it, but we got to start seeing it come together at some point, and hopefully it's on this Black Friday. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. I'll toss it back to you, Maddie.
Thank you, Matt. And so right now, before we get to our next couple things to watch, we got to go to a quick break. We'll be right back.
Shop Chiefs tickets and more with no fees. Plus, save big with code KCSN at ticketsforless.com, the official ticket provider of KC Sports Network.
Hey everyone, welcome back to KCSN's 5 Things to Watch. With the holidays creeping up faster than your aunt's fruitcake recipe, I've got something way better to share with you. If you want to look sharp for all those festive gatherings and maybe finally win that Best Groomed at a Family Dinner award, come on, you want to, check out the latest masterpiece from Manscaped, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver. Trust me, it's like Rudolph for your face, guiding you to a smooth, irritation-free shave. Head on over to manscaped.com and join over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by using code KCSports for 20% off plus free shipping. Yeah, that's right. Free shipping on top of the 20% off. I mean, I guess I can't say it enough. The Chairman Pro, it's like Santa's elves made this just for you. The blades and pivoting head adjust to every curve of your face and is gentle on the back of the neck area as if they had the gift of foresight. So go ahead, kiss that awkward jawline patch goodbye. No more pretending it doesn't exist while you hope nobody notices under the mistletoe. Get the Chairman Pro today and experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code KCSports at manscaped.com. That is 20% off plus free shipping with the code KCSports at manscaped.com. KCSports at manscaped.com. That's enough. You got it. You understand. You're there. And while you're there, now you're back here with us for KCSN's 5 Things. We have this to you every week, 5 different people, 5 different groups of things to watch for the upcoming Chiefs game. We have heard from myself and Kent. We have heard from Matt Hamilton. And now it is time to head on over to another Matt B, hanging out with Tucker. And they're going to talk about one of the big matchups in the trenches this week.
Beef of the Week, presented by Batchelder Family Farms here on 5 Things. Tucker Franklin hanging out with Matt Verderam as always. Appreciate our friends at Batchelder Family Farms for getting us right and ready as the Chiefs take on the Las Vegas Raiders on Black Friday. Another holiday game for the Kansas City Chiefs. And look, they've got their beef bundles over there, BatchelderFamilyFarms.com. If you go over there, check out their farm bundles. They've got quarter cows. They've got bison bundles you can get as well. And also this week they have a special 10% off this Saturday. Anyone who mentions Small Business Saturday in store at their store down in Belton, Missouri, 2810 South Prospect Avenue in Belton, or at the City Market in Kansas City. The Overland Park Farmers Market is closed this weekend. City Market still up and running, but you get 10% off this Saturday for anyone who mentions Small Business Saturday in store or at the City Market. Batchelder Family Farms, go check them out at their website, Batchelder Family Farms, or in person. You can get some good beef there. We got some good beef this week, Matt, as we are talking about Max Crosby, a pretty good football player. Don't know if you know that. Pretty good football player going up against a guy that has kind of struggled a little bit in recent weeks. Wanya Morris, thoughts on that matchup?
He's struggled a little bit in recent weeks.
Hey, I'm trying to put it nicely. I'm trying to sugarcoat things. You were
Blocking air against the Carolina Panthers on multiple snaps. It was not good. It was also not good last year on Christmas when they tried to block Max Crosby with Wanya Morris. And I don't know if people remember that game. I'm going to go ahead and guess that most people do remember that game.
Yeah.
Let's say it didn't go well. Listen, here's the funny thing. Juwan Taylor actually did a great job against Max Crosby earlier this year.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that we're going to see a whole lot of Wanya Morris getting that opportunity because the Raiders are going to line him up on that side. And for those who don't remember that wonderful Christmas Day experience last year, the Chiefs gave up 4 sacks in that game. Crosby shockingly did not have one, but Malcolm Kuntz had 3 of them.
Wow.
And he's out for the year right now, unfortunately for Kuntz. He's done for the year. He got hurt early. But the Chiefs gave up 10 quarterback hits. Good times. Good times. Listen, for the love of God, chip them. Chip them. Double them. Like, if I have to listen to one more person inside or outside the Chiefs organization say, well, you know, when you chip, you lose a guy in the passing game. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to live with losing Carson Steele in the passing game. Like, I think it's okay. And you don't have a passing game if Mahomes is on his back because Wanya Morris didn't get out of his stance and Max Crosby's tearing around the edge. Like, use Pirine as a wing back in this game. Big Samaje, consider yourself an ineligible receiver on every play. You're a blocker today. Like, that's what this game should be. Because that is, to me, the one way they're going to lose is that way. Is just defensive scores, which is how they lost on Christmas a year ago. So, I think you have to take a lesson from the past here.
It's great that you bring up that the last time that the Raiders were in Arrowhead was that Christmas game, also on a holiday again. This game does kick off on 2 p.m. Central Time, which is a weird kickoff time. It's the weirdest start time of all time. The last 2 games, Matt, for the Kansas City Chiefs, they've allowed 7 sacks. Go back even the last 3 against the Denver Broncos in there. you're looking at 11 sacks in the last 3 games. That's not going to be good enough. They're going to have to protect the quarterback a whole lot better. Look, and they might have some help on the way with DJ Humphries. It's going to be dependent on how fast he gets up to speed. I don't know about you, Matt. I don't have a lot of high expectations for how soon he can get in to things, especially with him coming off of an ACL injury. But this is going to be one of those games where Wanya Moore's going to have to step up with it almost feels like he's going to play for his job here, Wanya Morris, a little bit, because he knows his replacements behind him is just getting healthy. It's a weird situation.
I feel like DJ Humphries is playing against the Chargers.
Ooh.
Like, he's going to be the left tackle for that game. That is my bold. I don't think they can screw around with this any longer.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be, hey, DJ, listen, you know about 10 plays in the book? We're just going to be like, hey, it's a pass. Make sure to handle that. And Tooney there is just going to tell you, like, hey, we're sliding right. Like, okay, great. I mean, I don't think he's playing in this game.
Yeah.
I don't even know that he's active. My guess is he won't be active. If he is active, is there a moment in this game where Andy Reid looks down the bench and is like, hey, DJ, how you feeling? Like,
How's it mean?
I don't think that's going to happen. But I listen, I do think you're going to get Amenahu and Pacheco back this week, which certainly helps.
That does certainly help. Looking at the last time the Chiefs and Raiders play, as you mentioned, only 1 sack. So maybe they can a little bit more. Did Malcolm Koonce, was he playing in that game?
No,
was that?
Tyree Wilson had a sack.
That's right. Okay. Malcolm Koonce got injured pretty early this year, right?
He didn't play all year. He missed all season.
Wow. I'm very high on Malcolm Koonce, but this isn't the Raiders podcast. I do like him there, but hopefully the Chiefs can protect the quarterback and then also get after the quarterback on the other side of the ball. But we're just talking about the offensive side right now. That's going to do it for our segment of Beef of the Week. Go check out Bachelor Family Farms. Also 10% off this Saturday for anyone who mentions Small Business Saturday in store or at the City Market in KC. We're going to go ahead and sit it back for more 5 things.
Thank you, fellas. We are back. We are down to 2 more things. I think it's time. You guys know what time it is. You listen every week. You know it's time to head on over to Benny and check out his picks and make sure you write them down.
All right, thank you, Maddie. Happy Thanksgiving, happy Black Friday to all of you guys for joining us here on 5 Things. We are going to be going over our 3 pick'em plays on Underdog Fantasy for the Chiefs and the Raiders for this week. Opportunity to avenge that game from Christmas Day last year for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think they're in a pretty good position to do so. We got 3 plays on the board. We'll go through them. What's nice about Underdog is that this is a fantastic week. If you have not gotten a chance to jump on board, you can use that promo code KCSN. You get $1,000, up to $1,000 in bonus cash on your first deposit. Also, this is a great week to get involved, especially if you're going to be paying attention to the Chiefs and Raiders, because Week 13's free pick is Patrick Mahomes to go higher than 0.5 total yards. What's nice about Feast Week 2, they got profit boost, discounts, gimme picks, so much more, including for those who have already registered over at Underdog. So it's not just for the new players. If you've been playing for a little bit too, you can take advantage of all these different opportunities throughout the course of Feast Week. So make sure you guys check them out over at Underdog. And if you haven't signed up yet, make sure you use that promo code KCSN. Let's start on the Chiefs side for the matchup. And I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes, the red hot Patrick Mahomes, to go higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns against the Raiders this week. For as slow as Mahomes started and for all the concern that was sort of popping up nationally with how the offense was playing, Mahomes has dropped 3 passing touchdowns in 3 of his last 4 games and now gets a Raiders defense that really has just been abysmal. You think about their calling card last year under Antonio Pierce. They played hard. They played tough. They were really physical. They just haven't been able to stop anybody lately. Raiders rank 30th in the NFL this year in opponent points per play, 28th in opposing touchdowns allowed per game, and also 24th in opponent red zone scoring percentage for touchdowns. Also, if you think back on Mahomes, I want to shout out Scott Spratt over with FTN Fantasy. He mentioned back in late October that Mahomes was still averaging the same amount of red zone passes per game that he had in that 2020 season, where he ended up with 38 touchdowns. But that number was closer to just over 4. And he said there's going to be more touchdown luck positively regressing to the mean. And that's actually what we've seen throughout the course of November, with 3 of the last 4 weeks, 3 or more touchdowns. Expect that to continue. The offense is playing a little bit more confidently. You're starting to get a few more weapons, hopefully, back into the mix as well. 1.5 touchdowns for Mahomes against just a putrid defense right now at their home should feel like a relatively strong play this week. Now let's go over to the Raiders side and go with Aiden O'Connell. I like him to go higher than 0.5 interceptions for the game. Couple of reasons for this. The first is that you look sort of at the outside odds. The Raiders are entering this game, depending on where you look, as a 13-point road dog against Kansas City. And should this play out, we'll see more throws. We'll see more desperate chances from the quarterback position. That's more likely for Kansas City to perhaps take the ball away. More throws leads to more variance, more opportunities to get an interception, certainly as they become more and more desperate. Now, that's game script. Doesn't always work out that way. In fact, we saw that firsthand last week when we projected Bryce Young to go higher than 0.5 interceptions, and he did a great job really carving up Kansas City. Arguably the best game that Bryce Young has played in his short NFL career. So maybe we need another reason. And the other reason is that O'Connell's the team's healthy quarterback, but he's also playing with a broken thumb and trying to play through it. And the other thing is that normally if you're a quarterback and you're dealing with this type of injury, you might say to yourself, okay, well, let's run the ball. Let's try to control time of possession, take some time off the clock. Maybe it opens up some play action, but let's not make O'Connell, our quarterback, have to do everything. But the Raiders can't run the ball. In fact, they're dead last in almost every meaningful running metric. Rush play percentage, dead last in the NFL. Yards per rush, rushing yards per game, dead last. So that likely indicates big road underdog and a quarterback with a broken thumb. They can't run the ball. I like what this is setting up to be in Kansas City on Friday. So I'm backing him to at least throw a pick. Last one on the board, Brock Bowers, the star tight end in his rookie year. Like him to go higher than 6.5 receptions. We just talked about it. Aiden O'Connell's going to be throwing the ball quite often. And let's lean into Bowers. The rookie numbers that he's putting up this year are astonishing. And we thought Sam Laporta, a year ago was the guy that sort of broke the mold, and Bowers is basically surpassing him. He's just an absolute stud of a tight end as a receiver, and I think those numbers are only going to continue to grow. He actually set a franchise record last week for the most rookie receptions for the Raiders in week 12. Plenty more action to go. The numbers weren't great last week. 4 receptions for 38 yards against a good Denver defense, but he still saw 10 targets. And this is still a Chiefs defense for as good as the defense has been. They've been tested last couple games. They've given up more yards, more points, broken down a little bit in the red zone. And they just have had issues slowing down tight ends throughout much of the year. So like the matchup for Bowers, like the opportunity and the volume, we know he's going to get targeted a ton. Been their most consistent pass catcher all season long. And it's been a position that the Chiefs have had issues covering all throughout the course of the season. So again, for underdog this week in week 13, we're going with Patrick Mahomes to go higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. We like Aiden O'Connell to go higher than 0.5 interceptions. And then Brock Bowers higher than 6.5 receptions on the day as well. Remember that promo code KCSN. You get to claim your free pick, which is Patrick Mahomes to go higher than 0.5 total yards, plus all of the benefits on Underdog Feast Week that you can take advantage of as well. Hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving, Black Friday, whatever you're all celebrating. Hopefully you're doing it with your friends and family and loved ones and enjoying yourself. So with that, enjoy the game. Maddie, back to you, my friend.
Perfect. Thank you, Benny. Got those marks down. I will make sure we get those on the docket. And now finally, we need to wrap up this one. We are going over to the boys at Only Weird Games. They are going to talk about DeAndre Hopkins versus a pretty battered up Raiders secondary.
You want something to look forward to on Black Friday that won't cost you any money at all? We can offer you that here with the Only Weird Games crew, Joshua Briscoe, Seth Kaiser, Nate Taylor. We're going to talk about somebody who has earned plenty of discussion in recent weeks, but wasn't on the field as much as we might have expected last week. Let's talk about DeAndre Hopkins, fellas. The recent snap counts, I'll give you all of the snap counts since arriving in Kansas City. 23, 51, 44, 26, 33. So again, dipping in recent weeks also coincides with the return of Juju Smith-Schuster. But Nate, I'll give you a first crack at it here. What's the plan with DeAndre Hopkins?
I mean, we trying to protect that 4th round pick. Hey man, if you play 60% of the snaps and the Chiefs make the Super Bowl, it goes from a 5th round pick to a 4th round pick based on the conditions of the trade. Now, that is the simplest way of saying it. I think the more nuanced way, Josh, is yes, Juju Smith-Schuster has returned. Yes, the Chiefs still trust Justin Watson, who, is still reliable in certain situations. He had a great 2-man block for the game-winning scramble from Patrick Mahomes. I know DeAndre Hopkins caught a touchdown pass, but I do wonder, Seth, if some of this is related to Xavier Worthy and getting him up to speed as much as possible while also ensuring that your pick stays a 5th-round pick that you give to the Tennessee Titans.
The issue for me with protecting a pick, well, there's several. One is that
Even protect the Peyton Hendershot pick, Nate. What are we doing?
there's 2 issues here. The first
He's 32.
is that I assume playoff snap counts count. And unless they plan on, maybe. But I mean, it would only make sense come playoff time. If Hopkins is not like 80, 90% of the snaps in the playoffs, I'm going to freak out because he is so clearly better. Like when the ball is thrown to him and he catches it, just the way he catches the ball, it is cool. He really is like his body is magnetized. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous how different it looks than every other receiver in the room. He runs good routes, like on the touchdown to Noah Gray. He got open on and out there, which, outs versus zero blitz, that's kind of tale of as old as time there. Ask Bryce Young, he'll tell you. But that's the first issue. The second one is that's the arrogance to say we are going to only play you a certain number of snaps because we want to protect the 5th from becoming a 4th, and you're older, and we can just treat the sheer arrogance of that would make me crazy. This is the NFL. You can't simultaneously give post-game speeches saying every one of these is hard, and then also be like, yeah, but we don't really need to try, do we?
He's 32, and Seth, you
He's
could call
32. He's not 70.
Seth,
I mean,
you can call whatever you want. What the Chiefs call it is tactical strategy, and hey, he got a lot of snaps against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in an overtime game that they won, that he caught 2 touchdowns, and we ain't got to do that again.
Yeah, fortunately, they haven't been in any close games since then. So only blowouts for the Chiefs. Thank God. I will say that last drive against Carolina, where it was like target for Kelsey, target for Hopkins, or whatever order it went in Mahomes scramble, a target for Worthy. Hey, shout out to Worthy. We got to talk about him again sometime soon. But
he's getting better.
I do think that was more like, oh, that's what the postseason is going to look like. Like those 3. But in the meantime,
well, they could say that. You got to keep in mind, they could throw the AFC Championship game so they don't have to have that pick escalate from a 5th to a 4th, because if they're not in the Super Bowl, it doesn't matter how many snaps DeAndre Hopkins played.
You know what? It's foolproof. Thank God you have that 4th-round pick you can spend on, you
need the trade for Cam Thomas again, or maybe acquire Joshua Uche late next season.
Do you think Mike Dice, the analytics staff, says, oh, it might be a critical 3rd down in the AFC Championship game? Can't be on the field, coach.
Well, right now, in the red zone. Right now in the red zone, their 2 wide receiver sets are Juju Smith-Schuster and Justin Watson, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, that Andy Reid knows more about football than 1,000 of me.
Yes.
But that seems insane.
Yes.
So I look forward to the day DeAndre Hopkins starts getting significant snaps, and I am more convinced than ever we're going the wrong way, guys. It was 60% against Tampa, 64% against Denver, 47%.
Cut it down. Mike Raiders, that's it.
So upsetting. So
Yeah, I guess see what happens. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Hey, all this means is that DeAndre is going to play like 80% of the snaps against the Raiders and absolutely dominate them. So, I'm sure as we say this, Josh, that they will ideally go in the opposite direction.
I actually saw that Amazon's running a lightning deal, so DeAndre Hopkins' snaps only count for 70%. It's 30% off DeAndre Hopkins' snaps on Friday. So use promo code WeirdGames at your local Amazon checkout, which is a thing that exists. And maybe you too can underuse a veteran, excellent future Hall of Fame wide receiver. We'll talk to you with Only Weird Games on Saturday for the absolutely apoplectic Seth Kaiser, the hysteric Nate Taylor. I'm Joshua Briscoe. We'll catch you on Saturday.
Thank you, guys. So that's been it. That's KCSN's 5 things. That's 5 different things to watch in the upcoming Chiefs and Raiders matchup. We appreciate you guys listening. As always, make sure you jump on over to the KC Sports Network YouTube page when the game is over. Right as the game ends, head on over to the KC Sports Network YouTube page. We're going live with the post game right then, right there. Win, lose, draw. Probably a win this week. Let's be real. And we'll talk about the game. We'll react right then and there. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the game.